Namaste students. Today we will discuss about physical nature of matter, physical nature of matter, and second topic, characteristics of particles of matter. First of all, we discuss about physical nature of matter. Physical nature of matter. According to physical nature of matter, the particles of matter are very small. Just for example, a small rain drop of water having 10 to the power 21 particles. That means the number of particles in a matter having very large, but their size are very small. Another example, we take a beaker and keep 300 ml of water, and we add a crystal of potassium permanganate. The color of potassium permanganate is purple, mixture of red and blue colors, and crystal means it is the type of solid in which we discuss about states of matter. Type of solid. When we add crystal of a small crystal of potassium permanganate, we see that the whole water becomes purple color. This experiment verifies that the particles of matter are very small. It is so small that it is beyond in our imagination. Now, our next topic, characteristics of of particles of matter. There are following characteristics. One is the particles of matter have a space between them. Second one, the particles of matter are continuously moving. And third, the particles of matter attract to each other. Now we explain the characteristics of particles of matter. And first one, the particles of matter have a space between them. Particles of matter have a space between them. We can clear these characteristics by the taking different examples. For this characteristic, we take an example. We take a glass of water and add some crystal of sugar or salt. We see that the salt or sugar completely dissolve in water, but the level of water does not increases. This experiment verifies that the particles of matter have a space between them, and that's why we use term interparticle space. Interparticle space, that means the space between particles of matter. And that's why we introduce new term interparticle space. And we know that particle may be in the form of in the form of atom, molecule, ion. Therefore, we use the term interatomic space, intermolecular space, intermolecular space, interionic space. A particle in the form of atom, so a space between two atoms, we use the term interatomic. The particle in the form of molecule, we use the term intermolecular space. The particle in the form of ions, we use the term interionic space. Next one, the particles of matter. The particles of matter are continuously moving. For this characteristics of particles of matter, that is, the particles of matter are continuously moving. We take an example. We take a incense stick and we inlet this incense stick with the help of matchstick. After burning, its smell spreads over the entire room, outside the room. This activity confirms that the particles of matter are continuously moving. Another example, hot sizzling food reaches us several meters away. So, for this characteristic of particles of matter, we use the term diffusion. Diffusion. Diffusion means intermixing of two components is known as diffusion, and this diffusion tells that the particles of matter are continuously moving. That's why we get sizzling, a smell of sizzling food and a smell of incense stick. Third one, the particles of matter, the particles of matter, the particles of matter attract to each other. The particles of matter attract to each other, and for this characteristic of particle of matter, we use the term interparticle force. Suppose that we take a chalk and when we break this chalk, we have to require a force that is responsible for breaking the chalk. This activity confirms that the particles of matter attract to each other. So we use the term interparticle force, and that means the force between two particles. And previously we have learned about this particle, maybe atom, molecule, or ions. That's why we use the term interatomic force, intermolecular force, intermolecular force, interionic force. Interatomic means force between two atoms, intermolecular force, force between two molecules, and interionic force, the force between two ions. So dear students, we have discussed about physical nature of matter and characteristics of particles of matter. So your homework is solve in text problem of NCERT regarding this topic and read next topic, states of matter. Thank you.